Hello everybody, I am Luciana, and in this video we're going to be talking about how we can learn to love and accept ourselves as we are, especially when we're dealing with weight issues. So before we get into the video and what I actually want to share with you, I just want to tell you a little bit about my experience with this topic. So I grew up being pretty much overweight. I've been overweight all my life since I was a kid. My highest weight probably being around 300 pounds, like a size 28 pants. And right now, around 200 pounds, still considered overweight. I grew up understanding and knowing what it is to live in a lot of self-hatred and a lot of self-rejection, feeling profoundly ashamed, feeling worthless and not good enough for the majority of my life, to reach a place where I can honestly and genuinely tell you that I truly, truly love myself and my body and what it does for me as it is. In no way is it perfect. It's a constant relationship of self-love and of caring that I'm still walking, but I've never felt so much liberation and freedom when it comes to this topic. So I wanted to come on here and share with you some of the things that have worked for me when it comes to accepting myself, my weight, accepting that I'm fat. That's the way that I named this video, because we have so much of a stigma of sometimes accepting that word. Yeah, I am fat, and that doesn't mean I cannot love myself and embrace myself like I am. So yes. So the first thing that I wanted to share with you is that in order to begin that journey of self-acceptance, a switch has to happen in an idea or a belief. There is this idea or this belief that when we're overweight or when we're fat, the world rejects us. So others don't love us. Society is against us. Society rejects us and judges us, which in many ways it is true. But in order to bring acceptance, we need to create a switch from others don't accept me and society does not accept me to in what way do I not accept myself? In what way do I reject myself? I cannot change what society does. I cannot change what you do. I have no power over anybody but myself. So I need to create that switch. It's not how others reject me. How do I reject myself? To become 100% responsible for what you're feeling and what it's at your reach to be able to help or to change and transform. So that is the first thing. I know it's not necessarily easy, but it is possible. Now, in order to do that, one of the things that will help us is to allow ourselves to feel and be honest with our emotions, just like I mentioned earlier. So the second thing that I wanted to share with you is to take a moment to identify what are the emotions that you're carrying around that are strongly behind this feeling of being fat and being overweight. So let's do this together. The only thing that I'm going to invite you is to stay with me connected through your breath. So one thing that is going to connect you and me through this process is that we're both going to be breathing together, okay? So when you think of this top, maybe you've been overweight your whole life, like the case that, my case, maybe it's something recent, maybe it's about after having your children, whatever the situation it might be. Whatever it is, just take a moment and acknowledge what is the emotion behind this. And there may be a couple of them. Is there a lot of guilt? Take a moment to breathe. Do you feel a lot of guilt because you are fat? Do you blame yourself, maybe because of your habits? Do you feel that it is your fault because you've not known better? Because of nobody taught you how to do it? Because of something that happened in your life? Take a deep breath and feel. If it helps you and you feel comfortable, put a hand or in your body, on your chest or on your stomach, wherever you feel the emotion, and breathe into that. Is there guilt behind the thought or the truth of being fat? Good. Just breathing allows us to feel and allows us to accept. Now, maybe there is some guilt, but maybe for some of you, the stronger emotion that is there is that there is a deep feeling of self-rejection. You reject yourself, you reject the way that you look, you reject yourself when you're looking in the mirror or when you actually eat. You feel this constant feeling of self-rejection. If this is the case for you, take a deep breath and just sit here with me in a place of honesty and vulnerability and feel. This has been a very big one for me. A lot of self-rejection. And maybe together with that guilt and that rejection, for some of you, maybe the main emotion that's there is that you feel a deep sense of abandonment. Abandonment does not mean anybody literally abandoned you. Maybe for some of you it does. But it's more that feeling of a sadness together with a loneliness and feeling that nobody else understands or it's there for you. Take a deep breath and feel. Do you feel profoundly abandoned? It may be also self-abandonment, that you feel that for years and years and years, you have not been able to care for you. Breathe. The second step of truly starting that process of embracing and accepting yourself as you are, your weight, everything about yourself, is to feel these emotions. Do I feel guilty? Do I feel rejection? Do I feel abandoned? And not running away from them, even if they're uncomfortable. Just breathe. If you need to cry, you cry. Whatever it is the case. If these emotions are not addressed, no matter how many diets we do or weight loss programs we may have some positive results temporarily, but then we go back because the core of the emotions are not resolved. And people say, well, how do I do it? It's as simple as what we're doing right now. It's not complicated. The thing is that it's not a comfortable process, but just being willing to go there and be honest and no longer putting the blame on anybody and just embracing it ourselves. And the third step in order to be able to continue with this process is that after we embrace the emotion and we address the emotion, we have to be willing to enter a space of forgiveness. Now, I know that forgiveness is a big word that we all have different definitions for, and then we live it differently. But in this case, just for this, exercise that we're doing, forgiveness simply means that we understand that through all of those years, even our childhood, we were doing the best that we could because we didn't know any other way. Even if we had a food addiction, we didn't know any other way. So I forgive myself because I've simply been doing the best that I can. And today I'm even doing something differently. So you're growing, you're expanding. So just take a deep breath, feel, and just say out loud or in your mind, I forgive myself. I forgive myself. I forgive myself. And take a deep breath. If you're ever feeling a very strong emotion and you feel like a little bit of heaviness in your stomach or your chest, you can do something that I call a vocal breath, where we just breathe. And we exhale with a sound, and it releases some of that pressure. Wow, you did it. You did it well, you followed all the way to this part of the video. And if you followed along and you actually allowed yourself to feel, you may notice a change. For some of you, you may actually feel maybe the emotion's still there, and it's fine. You can continue to just breathe and just say it loud or in your mind, I forgive myself. Simple, and that is all. My challenge to you is that I want to invite you to practice this exercise every single day for the next week, the next 2 weeks, as long as you want to. What you will notice is that the more that you do it, the less intense the emotion feels and the more acceptance there can be. And anything you do to care for yourself when it comes to your diet, to your habits, will have more of a permanent success because there's less resistance. I would love to hear how it is that you're doing, if you enjoyed this process, if it has helped you, and if you are having a very difficult time moving forward with this and you want some support, know that I am here for you. I hope that you can reach me on Instagram, on Facebook. I know how difficult it can be. I know it is a process. So, like I said, I am here for you. I hope all of you have a beautiful, beautiful day, and I will see you soon. Bye bye.